ends up popping on here. I'm going to forge some stake turners today by hand. Might do a little bit of heat treating while I'm at it, depending on how the oil gets hot. What's up, Maxilla? How you doing? So we're going to forge some stake turners. So starting off with this little square stock right here. Let me know if there's like wind sound effect. I mean, you're going to have some of the forge noise, but let me know if it sounds like there's like wind blowing at the mic here. But we're going to forge some stake turners out of some square stock right here. These turn out pretty cool. I've done them out of a few different materials. Wonder what a stake turner is. This is one I did out of rebar. What's up, Steve? So this one was out of rebar. Little stake turner. So I had to actually forge that square in order to do the twist right there. But I really wish I had done the twist in this section too, because rebar looks really cool whenever it's twisted. But I'm forging some of these today. I'm going to do 2 of them. That way we're forging pretty much constantly. I'm going to have 4 or 5 at Blade Show with me. The other things that I got to do today, I don't know if I'm going to do in this video or not, but these have already been grain refined. They've already went through their thermal cycles and grain refining. So that is what we forged in the last live stream. Sacks with the forged fuller. So got to heat treat that. It's already grain refined, and then I got to do the heat treating on this false Damascus. You're at the county fair. What's up, Neil? So got to do that one, and this one. These are going to Blade Show. Then I've got to do the handles on these 2. Of course, this one still needs a maker's mark. But look at the hamon on that. So that's 26C3. This is just the test etch for the hamon, and that didn't last long, did it? So, got a Damascus one, and then it's the same profile for both of them. And then 26C3 with hamon. These things right here, I'm going to do some, I've got some nice handle material, some bog oak, and then some spacers and all that. And then I'm finishing this one finally. This blacksmith little ring knife, or actually forged out the ring, pulled it together. Well, I'll be here, Duck, if you come on back. But that one right there, that's also going. I've got like 23-ish blades that are going. I'm also bringing the double-bladed dagger. I'm bringing a few builds that people haven't actually seen in person. All right, so let's go ahead and start forging this out. I've got 2 of them in here. Tapers to the end. Just gonna keep going with that. Just bringing them down. I've actually got the light off right above me. I normally have that on. You can actually see the heat better. I don't have all of my filming lights on. So I'm basically gonna forge a taper out. Of course, I'm gonna be doing twists and stuff like that. This is a pointer that I made, but I'm gonna be doing twists on the stake turners and all of that too. So I'll be going to the vise when I start that. You don't think I hit hard enough? Listen here, Neil. Neil's going to be at my table, 9Q, at Late Atlanta. You want to check out his stuff? I'm using the round side of my hammer to do this. Going to keep pulling those out. Just put it back in the forge and it starts cooling down. This is actually the reason why I made some of the things like, do I make bike parts? No, I don't make bike parts. I mean, I could. So I made this small forge, just a one burner version of this forge. That one's actually pretty cool. I had a little video of that posted on my TikTok and Instagram. Some of y'all probably don't have TikTok. So one of the nice things about having two of these going is you can pretty much be forging the entire time. Just keep bringing that down. A little taper drawn out. I'll go grab the thing real quick for my glasses. Keep them on my head. it looks like I just get to be annoyed by my glasses falling off my face the entire time. Tried to find a little glasses holder. Go blue where I put that. I'll make something else. I don't want to do basically the same time. Okay. Let's see if I can make something. My glasses coming down my face. Should have some smaller here. How y'all doing? Walmart right now. I dig that. I'm in Walmart too often because my primary job, of course, working for Pepsi. So I'm in Walmart constantly. Basically what I'm making right now is a thing to hold my glasses on my face while I'm forging, because what ends up happening is as I'm swinging the hammer, my glasses fall off my head. Because whenever I forge, if you watch me doing this, my whole entire body moves. So as I'm forging, making a ridiculous knot on this one, but as I'm forging, my whole body moves, and as I'm doing that, the glasses just fall and fall and fall and fall. It's real annoying. See, I've typically got a little holder for my glasses. I'll see if I can make something that keeps them on my face. Well, they're supposed to be. Now I could probably forge without my glasses, because the only thing that gets me with seeing is far distances. I'm one of those people. I was born with a debuff. Some of y'all are probably thinking, did you say he was born with a debuff? Yes. Born with a debuff. You can't see debuff. Be easier if I could just hook this crap up into my man bun, right? That's yes, Jim. Yes, what you said. Just hook. I hadn't read your comment prior to me looking up, so that's hilarious. Like the way shit. Just so you know, Maximus Knives, this guy named Neil Warren, he's who I bunked with the entire time I was at. Man, screw this. I'm not messing with it. It's taking too long to screw with crap like that. I want to forge. We'll just make it happen. Sliding all the way over here. There you go. Ah. Keep it tapering. Again, for those of you just chiming in, we are forging stake turners, which are basically these little guys right here that have hooks on them. What you do, grab your stake, hook into it, flip it, flip it, flip it. Instead of using like tongs or something like that to flip it, I'll tell you the downside to using tongs to flip your steaks is when you go to scoop up under it, you can just absolutely take all your seasoning off of one side of it. Use a hook, grab it, flip it, take any of your seasoning off. And you look cool because you got a steak turner, not tongs. Makes you slightly cooler than the other people at the cookout. All of them are wondering, where the heck did you get one of those things? Okay, I've got that tapered decently. I just need to go through, square that out. Now that is, of course, it's not drawn out as much as it's going to be. Whenever I go through and I actually round the edges of that, it's going to give me extra length too. What are we making? Steak turner. Yep. Basically, steak flipper is a drift with the hook at the end of it. Help to twerk when you're swinging. Focus hit. You better believe it. By the way, Maximus Knives is not gay. He just likes making a lot of sexual references. Of course, I'm not telling him how to live his life. I don't want to assume your sexuality. By the way, that's the calmest person you'll ever meet that has the craziest, not really road rage, he just doesn't like people to drive like morons. And he calls them all out. But it's a lot of fun to ride in a car with him. They'll make you terrified. Square it back up. Why are you being weird? He's being weird for the algorithm. The more people that comment, the better it is. Okay, so we got this drawn out. We need to go a little bit further within it. There's the Caesar, is that? Yeah, nice to have you here. Thank you for waiting. Go ahead and grab this one. Now I'm going to end up drifting out both ends or drawing out both ends. I like putting hooks on the end of them or the loops so you can actually put it on a hook or something like that. All I'm doing right now is just evening out the taper. Whenever I go through it, I do the twist on it. I want it all to be as square as possible so it gets a nice twist. This is just a little planishing hammer. I just want a nice sharp edge around it. Now, of course, that's going to get rounded on the edges, but you want something to really bite onto square when you start doing your twists. You don't want it to be rounded because then when you put it in your vise and you grab it with your wrench to twist it, it wants to roll the edge. Now we're going to heat up the other side of that one, and we're going to draw that out. Just going to square everything up on this one. That one evened out. And these will get drawn out more. Just gotta stop them where they're at. Biggest road rage I've ever seen. Let me go ahead and turn my notifications down so that it's not. Whew, it is hot in here, dude. And I've got a fan kind of sort of blowing in my direction, but it is like, I don't know what the humidity is right now, but it's super humid where I live, and we're in the 90s already, so it's probably about 105, 110 in my shop. It is definitely warm. Start drawing out the other side. The glass is just fully off the face that time. Now, tapering that other side. See, if my wife was here, she'd be out there trying to find my glasses, or my holders of my glasses, strap. But her and my son, my middle child, are at one of my local hardware stores doing a fundraiser for a church camp. So they're at one of our local family-owned hardware stores doing a fundraiser. It's cool being in a town the size of mine, because we're big enough that we have all of the Lowe's and the Home Depot and the Ace Hardware and all of that. We've got 3 Walmart supercenters. We're a small town, but we're a big town. And we still have local hardware stores, which is really cool. She's doing that, so I'm just here all alone with y'all. Glasses. I think for my next pair of glasses that I get, I'm just going to get shop glasses. I'm just going to get glasses that are meant for my shop, where I don't have to worry about this crap. You know, these are fantastic for everyday wearing, but anytime I start doing like jogging and stuff like that, it's fine. But whenever I'm swinging a hammer down, there's that jarring effect, just makes it come off my face. So I think I'm going to end up getting like actual shop glasses with little guards on the side. Don't get much downtime when you're doing two of them. Just got to make sure you pace yourself. Don't wear yourself out. Make sure you're using your full arm. If you don't feel this in your shoulder, if you're not feeling it in your shoulder, your arm, your forearm, and all of that, then you're using too few muscles. You don't want to blow your elbow out. You want to just be using just your elbow muscle. You want to use full range of motion that you have. See, now we have both ends drawn out. We go just a little bit more than that. Always see when your kids are napping. Well, nice to have here. This is what you were looking for. This is what you get. Okay. What I'm going to do now, we'll draw out the other one just a little bit more, and then we'll go ahead and do the twist on it. Woo! We'll go ahead and do a twist on it. So we'll draw out that other end, put it in the vise, do the twist in the center, and then we'll go ahead and start working on the other side. And we'll finish pulling it out and then rounding it and doing our hook. Into that loop. we're doing is taking and knocking the corners in on this section that we're going to loop onto itself. Oh yeah, you definitely got to remember to hydrate when you're out here doing this stuff. I make sure, I've got my refrigerator behind y'all. I make sure to keep it stocked. Good to go. Knock in these corners. Around to that. Go ahead and pull my tongs off real quick. These things get real hot when we're forging. I've dunked them in there. We're already dry. See, my backhand, I keep spinning the tongs. So that we are working it all the way out on all the angles. We've rounded it. Now, we just need to go ahead and loop that one. So I'll straighten it up and then I'll loop it. Hands sweating. Okay, so one of the things I need to tell y'all, you can see on here, I don't know if you could tell that my hammer's a little wet from my hands sweating a little bit. or if I'm wiping my sweat away and having it on my hands. The easiest way to get blisters, or screw your hand up, is to be forging with a wet hand or a wet glove or something like that. You need to make sure your hands stay dry. You want to develop calluses, you don't want to develop blisters. So your hand needs to stay dry. If this section was damp or moist or something like that and I was forging, it's going to rub it raw and give you a blister right there on your palm. You don't want that to happen. Making sure that everything is straight. Whenever you do your twist, if everything's not kind of where it needs to be, your twist will be off. And then you'll have to go through and fix a bunch of crap. And if you would have just paid attention before you actually did your twist, everything would have been nice and good. And this one's ready for a twist. Keep that up. I do the twist before I forge out the rest of the taper on the other side, because I'm not going to really be hammering with the twist edges on the anvil. And if I do, the only thing it's going to do is just slightly smooth them out, make them not as jagged. So I'm going to try and zoom you all in for this. Over here. Alright. And making a nail, I am making a stake turner. So basically, one of these stake flippers right here for when you're grilling. This one was made out of rebar. I'm using 1/2-inch square bar for this. I'm about to do the twist on it. I don't know what square bar will look like when it's twisted. So I'm about to do a twist on it at that vise right back there. Ooh, that guy. All I'm using to do this is just one of these crescent wrenches. I've got twisting wrenches for doing cable and stuff. That is this guy right here. It's for cable. It's got real sharp teeth on it, which works really well for doing cable twists. This isn't a cable, so I want nice smooth jaws. If I was doing something like forging cable or Damascus, that's when I use those others. All right, put it in the vise, twist, try, stand at a point where y'all can actually see. So let me move while my hand goes. I have a lot of hand goes. Not as many as some, but more than a few. Move this cable out of the way. I'll stand next to it. Now y'all can actually see this. I will tell you this, it's a lot easier to do this like a post plate vise. You're going to see see how twisted and how ridiculous that looks. I'll heat that back up, straighten it out. I'm about to do the twist on the other one real quick. And I'll tell you the reason why it's easier to do this with one of the other styles of tools is you can get an even amount of twist on both sides. To do it. What I mean by that is you're like it's like twisting a T versus twisting F maybe, you want to call it that? R, lowercase r. This one wasn't as bad because I figured out how to kind of compensate for it a little bit. So now back out. Whoa. Maybe all the way out. There we go. Yes, that's the pipe wrench. So this is one that I can't say I completely made, but I of course did weld this whole extra bar on here. If you're twisting with the wrench like this, you get an even amount of twist, and you can keep it from twisting off like this as you're going, because you can twist it very even side to side. Whenever you're twisting with just one side of the wrench, you're trying to move it, but you're pushing the material off to the side as you twist, because as you push like this, you're actually pushing the material off to one side, versus with the one like this, you're twisting it and it's staying in the center. I need to make one of those with smooth jaws. All right. Now we're going to straighten this. Even that out just a little bit. heat it back up. I'll move this bottom one down, and we'll be able to forge that out. Not really forged out. We'll build the loop on the end of it, and then forge it out the other side. If you're wondering what this is, it's just a wooden mallet. And it's just letting me straighten everything without really hurting anything. Straighten back up. Am I ready for blade show? Mentally, yes, I'm ready for blade show. Physically, no. I still have plenty of projects to do, but I'm getting there. Grab that. That thing is spicy. That back up. I've got a shift. For a stick turner, it's not necessary for you to really get that crazy, but it's actually shifted over that way a little bit. I'm going to flip it over to the other side. And I'm going to go ahead and move it over. Too bad. It would not move. Yeah. Good. Mild steel would make your life a lot easier when it comes to forging. All right. Now we're going to take the scrolling tongs, grab it at the tip, rotate it around like that. I'm going to use my turning hammer. Hanging off the edge of the anvil. Offset it. Clean it up, center it. Now we have our loop on the end, and what that's for is so that we can put it on a hook on the wall. Something you want to pay attention to is while you're doing this, you want to make sure that whenever you do your turn for the stake turner, so how you're going to have this, you need to make sure, it's like right now, this goes on a hook, this part comes out. You don't want to make it to where it sticks out of where it's going to be. So if I was going to put this on a wall and it came out the other direction and it was like, it hung like this, you want it to be able to lay flat. That's good. Just going to go ahead and take that little bit of extra force scale off of there. I'm gonna straighten up. I could probably straighten this up with a trigger here. That's centered. Now I'm just going to straighten the material after the twist. What I'm doing right now is not necessary at all, but I have little areas on there where the edge of the anvil, the corner, I had dug into it and made little sharp lines. I don't want those lines on there. So I just forged those lines out, smoothed everything up. Back up, do the twist of the loop on it. Alright. Now we want to go ahead and draw out this way. More. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm forging on the corners. show this to you. So I'm forging on the corners, knocking those in, and it's going to end up rounding everything and drawing it out. Now we should be hot enough. Go ahead. Loop on this. Again, scrolling tongs, paying attention to how it's pointed at you. In, like that. Turning here for this. Off the edge of the anvil. Off the back. Make sure everything is centered. Nice and centered. Everything's good there. The loop is centered back into itself. I'll read what you said there here in just a second. Let's see what you said there. For your finished pieces, you can heat. Yeah, so what I do, instead of linseed oil, you'll see me, I'll actually do that in this. So I'm gonna dip them in water, but I use this bar of beeswax. This is what I use every single time to hot wax. Why do I hold the hammer where I hold it at? Hey, I'll tell you why. Framing hammers you hold down here. Smithing hammers you tend to hold up here. There's times whenever I'm all the way up here. So framing hammers are all about whack, 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 you're done. Whenever you are smithing, you are fine tuning a piece of steel. So whenever I'm getting after it, I might move my hand back just a little bit if I'm swinging heavy, but whenever I'm fine tuning something, I'm letting it, I'm choking up on it right here, and I'm letting it, for the most part, just pivot in a pinch grip. So I'll have 4 of them on the website this week prior to Blade Show. So whenever you are fine tuning something, you need to be right here. Boom, 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 boom. If you ever watch a jeweler do work, he's not swinging it like a framing hammer. He's choking up on it. Hopefully that's helpful. You'll almost never see a smith hold a hammer from the back section like that. Almost never. Partially because framing hammers are little baby hammers. This isn't even a big hammer, and it's a 3-pounder. If I was swinging a 2-pound little baby hammer, it wouldn't be a big deal. or like 1.5 pounds. I mean, like, this is a crappy framing hammer. This is a crappy hammer right here. But that right there weighs about as much as half the side of that hammer. You take a 5-pound rounding hammer, you ain't swinging it from all the way down to the very bottom. That's it. There's 5-pound sledgehammers, and we use them as regular little old smithing hammers. I know that was probably like an honest question, or why I hold it the way I do. You probably weren't saying anything offensive about it. Hopefully I answered your question with the least amount of sarcasm possible. I feel like I was a little bit of sarcasm in there for me, and I'm so sorry about that. I do get asked that question pretty often. Let's see here. Yeah, and again, sorry if I sounded like I was being a jerk or something like that. Oh, got to get a drink. Again, stay hydrated if you can while you're doing this. Yeah, some of it's finesse, and some of it's about fatigue. You know, when a framer uses a hammer, nowadays they just use pneumatic stuff, you know what I mean? They're using nail guns and things like that. But for a smith who's going to be forging for 6, 7, 8 hours, swinging from the end of the handle like that is just exhausting. If you're, like, people who are framing aren't doing what I'm doing right now for 6 to 7 hours. You know, they hammer in some nails, move around, hammer in some nails, move around, hammer in some nails, move around, stuff like that. We're in one spot, just getting after it. Now, again, what I'm doing is I'm just stretching this out. I don't want it to be too long. Right now, we're pretty much lengthwise perfect. This is good length. You don't want it to be too long. Sometimes you'll see these things really long. It kind of messes with your leverage a little bit. And you don't want to have to be, like, if the grill is right here, you don't want to have to be all the way back here to flip it. So you got to think about that as you go and do this. Man, this is the only reason why I don't need to go to the gym to work out my arms. Now, I probably need to work out my left arm a little bit. Whew. Because my left arm is smaller than my right arm. Now, it's a different thing. So, like this arm right here, this will be about 1.5 inches larger in diameter than the arm over here when it's all said and done. But the difference is, from holding the tongs, my hand and wrist on this side are beefier than my hand and wrist on this. And you would think, well, you're swinging the hammer with this. But really, I'm just holding it in a pinch grip and swinging with this arm. This one, I have to keep it tight and rotate it, rotate it, rotate it, rotate it, rotate it the whole entire time. So you're working out different muscles as you're doing this. And you'll get different fatigue for long distances, for long durations. Okay, now we'll go ahead and smooth it out. I'm going to be back here on this back section. That out. I'm probably going to end up switching to the edge of this anvil. We'll move that over here too. Finish out this little piece. I still need to knock the edges off of this anvil just a little bit on this. It's still a little sharp. If you don't know what this anvil is, this is the Jay Nielsen from Forging Fire, the guy that like beats the hell out of the knives. This is his collaboration anvil with Texas Farrier Supply. They're sponsors of the channel. Same thing with two Basterds, Texas Smithy and Supply. Those two are right there, channel sponsors. And it's a new anvil, so I still need to knock the corner off just a little bit because it's still a little sharp here. On my other anvil, the one that's back here, move my hammers. So this is just a vintage anvil. It's by Trenton, so Trenton Ajax, about 100 years old. And I have it set up with like different sections that are rounded. When I was talking to them about designing this anvil, that's the reason why we have that rounded section right there. All right. Right now, one of the other things you'll notice is this. The ringing noise. The difference is this one is strapped down and has silicone underneath the whole base. This is just held into place. And it's got an aluminum base on it. This, I use this to do my classes at shows because it's easy to move. This is 170 pounds, this is 112. The base is heavy as hell, and this base is light. But you get spoiled by an anvil like this. The difference is the top of this face is not perfectly flat. The top of this one is perfect. Doing things like stake turners, we are good with this anvil on it. just cleaning everything up, making it how I want it to look. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pull these out just for a second. Make sure everything is straight on both of them. That one's looking good. It needs to be straightened up just up here. Straighten up this one later in the vise, but I need to get everything centered, back to center on it. All I'm doing to recenter stuff is, like, if it's off to one side or the other, I'm just putting the high point on the anvil and I'm hammering on the other side over here, and I'm shifting it down. I'm using that gap that's inside there and I'm moving it over to fill that gap. Okay. Let this cool for just a second. Wipe my face off again. Now, the reason why I'm letting these cool is because I need to. This is something that I do that some people don't do, but I want to go through and actually grind in the point to it. Now, you don't have to do that, but for me, with these mild steels, if you go through and you try and forge that to a very fine point, you can risk crushing the end of it and it separates. Exactly what Steve said. Now I'm rotating it as I'm hammering it. But you get really clean twists and tapers to that, which is what you're looking for. You want to, I don't want to say if you want to charge a premium for it or something like that, but if you're wanting to be able to sell good quality pieces, you need to make sure you're putting the work in. When people buy smithing projects from me, a certain level of quality with it, so I got to make sure that I'm keeping up with that expectation. So now what I'm going to do, pull y'all over just a smidge so that y'all can see where I actually have my table set up. This is not a workbench. Whoop. Around and pull it inside just a little bit. I like to keep things on wheels so that I can move it around. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get a good grip on this thing, and I'm going to grab one of my other sets of tongs. I'll show y'all these tongs here in just a second. Turn this on, and I'm going to grind these in. Okay. So what I'm doing there is this set of tongs. You see it has these little circles in it. Putting the end of this inside there. I'm using this for pressure, and I'm just twisting. So we get a nice point on there. That one's good. It's like a little hazy over there. There we go. Left phase. Same exact process. Pull y'all back over here. Nice point to that, nice and cleaned up. Goes back in the forge. We're going to do one at a time on this so we don't go too crazy with the heat on either of that. We're going to end up dunking. Bucket of water. We're going to dunk the tips of these in there and harden them. Will it harden a little bit? Yes, but it's not going to be like some crazy, awesome, heat treat process. And we are water quenching, we're not oil quenching. I don't even know why you water this down. And get it back up. Doesn't really matter. Put a hook on it before you quench it. Quenching it before you do the hook kind of pointless. Remember what I said. If you're going to be quenching, or if you're going to be putting a hook, you need to make sure the hook's on the correct side. I'll explain that here in just a second. If you're just now tuning into this, move this handle out of the way. We're going to the same exact side. And this one right here, easiest way to make sure you do it the right way. Put one that's already twisted or turned the right way on the anvil. So we know this is going this way. We need to make sure and twist up. And over. And of course, I'll go through this. And now that we know we have the gist where it needs to be, I got it. Bring it back up, and then we'll go through and just kind of fine tune it so that everything's where it needs to be. We'll end up doing the next one after that, and that way these are looking good, and then we will hit them with the beeswax. I still got to be in here after this live stream and do some quenching. The nice thing is it's hot enough in here that my oils should be almost the right temperature. So now, go through, kind of fine tune everything. I want to go through widen the hook just a little bit. Again with the wooden mallet. Heat it back up. This is all about fine tuning it. It's kind of amazing how many people want me to actually make these. I don't tend to make many of them, but a lot of people ask me about it. What's up, Plum Shop? So I use that little Grizzly 2x42. That guy. I'll turn this around so we can actually. So, the cool thing about these, let's turn on this light. The cool thing about those is they sell them in a better motor now. Give me 1 second. Well, here, I can just bring it over here. So, they actually make them with better motors now. You can get a higher strength motor to it. Back whenever I got it, it was like one of the first. So you were pretty limited on what you could get. Let's do this other one real quick. Buy those with a higher horsepower motor, and we couldn't buy them like that before. So if you were going to get one, look on there, grab the one that has the bigger motor, and call it done. Now we have our hook. It's nice and sharp. I'll end up cleaning that up with some sandpaper. Now that one can be quenched. Yeah, I'm doing something different whenever I get the revolution here. That one's looking good. Nice and even. All right, so we're going to go ahead and quench the other one. Just the bottom end of it. I'll end up cleaning up the point with some steel wool or something like that. But now we want to grab this while it's still hot. Pull down just a hair. I don't think that's going to cool down on top layer. this can build from here. And we're going to hot wax it. Now, take it like this. Calm down. I want it to be cold enough for the oil to, for the wax to actually stay on it. If it's evaporating off of there, it's too hot. What it's going to do is it's going to blacken it. That and over here. Same exact process. Pull down to here. Now I don't put the wax all the way down to the very end or to the tip. Because as you're cooking, don't breathe in smoke. As you're cooking and flipping steaks and stuff like that, you're going to get nice, natural coating on there from your steaks, your fats. Plus, I would say if you're using this and you're worried about rust, just treat it like a cast iron pot. Go through, clean it, spray it with, any type of oil, canola oil, mineral oil, whatever oil you're using in your kitchen. Put a little coat on there, wipe it down, call it good. Treat it just like a cast iron skillet. And you'll be good. There is absolutely zero corrosion on mine, and I've used it several times with our humidity and everything. So all you got to do is just maintain it. Now while I have y'all here, let's do a little bit of heat treat. So I've got, I'll put y'all over here and I'm going to move the fan so it's not absolutely blowing on the bottom where the mic's at. Let's do a little bit of heat treatment. I got to quench one of these knives. Let me know if it seems like it's getting windy on the mic or anything like that. So I've got two cans here. This can, the tall one right here, Sparks 50 in it. The little can on top of this empty can has peanut oil. We're going to check the temps. cool. If you're going to use a laser thermometer or something like that, you need to make sure it's cool. We'll let the fan blow on it for a second. If the temperature of the front of the laser, if this plastic piece is hot, it's going to change the temperature of what you're checking out. So that's pretty normal. Oil's right at 122 degrees. I haven't even heated it up. That is just purely from being next to the forge. 120 degrees on that one, 119.3. So what I need to do, grab my blades over here, heat them up. One of them is 26C3. It's already been through all of its cycles, normalizing. What I need to do now, turn the forge down. Whenever I'm forging, I'm going to have my forge at about 1900, 2000 degrees whenever I'm forging. It's too hot for doing a heat treating process, okay? So right now, I pull the forge down. I'm going to let it get down to about 1600. Right now, we're at 1833. So we're going to let that come down, and while it's coming down in temp, I've already got the blade in there, because what it's going to do is as that's coming down in temp, it's going to use that heat to bring that blade up to temperature so that it has a little bit of soak time coming up to temp, and then I'll keep around, do whatever I got to do because it has a pretty fine point, and then I'll quench it. We're quenching that one in the top can that has the peanut oil. The longer chef knife, this is a Damascus setup. Yeah, I turned the PSI down, so the amount of gas down, and that brings the temperature of the forge down. And I'm only using one burner of the two, so brought that whole entire temperature down. But this one is the Damascus I got from Steve Jennings right here. This is a fossil Damascus chef knife. I'm going to be quenching it in the Parks 50. Double checking the temperature of the steel. So sometimes whenever you have people that go based on the color of the steel. What's up, good? So if you're going based on the color of the steel, not using a thermometer or something to check it, it might slightly confuse you. Sorry, had to get a drink. Okay. It might slightly confuse you if you're basing everything purely on the color of the steel when you quench it. Whenever I pulled that out, it was a nice bright color. But within about 5 seconds, it was about 900 degrees. That's telling me that it wasn't soaked through. It's telling me that it wasn't hot enough. right there, based on the color that was, people would have quenched right there. We're at 1400 degrees. Too cold. But you see a lot of people on their shorts, or people who are quenching in motor oil, or and whatever, quenching in solo cups. You'll see them get it to a certain color, and whenever they pull it out, it's like a bright red or a dull red, and they're quenching it, and then they're file testing it, and they're like, oh, let's go to file. It's not a good. Inside of my forge, 1660. Down from 1800. Now on this one, I'm going to edge quench and then full dunk. Out, edge quench, leave it, pull it out, edge quench, dunk. Agitate it, agitate it, agitate it. One, two, three, four, five. This steel is 26C3, so that'll develop a hamon, a little bit more of a direct hamon, not as much of a kind of like a ghost hamon or an accidental auto hamon. I go straight to wire brushing it after I get it out of the quench, so I knock off as much of that forge scale as possible. It's one less thing that I'm going to deal with later. That is after the quench. It's probably going to happen because of the way that the forge scale was on it. There's probably going to be some cool little things happening where those darker colors are. But you can see how thick I left that blade before quenching. And that's the one that has the forge fuller on there. I wanted to take this one to blade shows, so it's one of the ones that's getting finished. Okay, so this one is going to hang out. That file right there. Hey Bob, that little sword thing that you did, whew, that thing turned out so damn good. On knives where you have a finer point, now I left the point of this just a hair thick, but on knives that have a finer point, you need to make sure that you have that tip as far away from where your burner's at as possible, because that tip is going to heat up super fast. So you need to keep that all the way in the back corner of your forge. Raffling right now, hell yeah. The inside of my forge is very uniform temp wise, and so I can't tip away that easily, but yeah, it's an upside and downside to my forge, so I really don't have any cold spots in it. But hopefully I don't lose the Wi-Fi signal, but I'm gonna show y'all something. See if I can. Even that back corner. Oh, back there. That is still nice and hot. So there's not exactly a. So I don't exactly have a cold spot that I can put my blades. Very efficient forge, but you know how it goes. That's the reason why I turn the whole internal temp down. Temp of the forge, 1590. And we were at 18 something. It is roasted in my shop, but we were at 18 something earlier. My oil, my quenching oil, I didn't heat that up. My oil's 120 degrees because it normalized to the shop temperature. My shirt's 108 degrees. So, because my forge is down to that 1600, 1500 mark, I can let that blade soak in there. By the time I pull it out and go in the oil, by the time it hits that oil, it's going to be right at about 1500, 1520. So it's got to be right where you do. You see some people that take their blade out, they hang out, eat a sandwich, and then dunk it. Sometimes it lets the blade get too cold. See some people, straight out, boom, forge, straight into the oil. Sometimes it's going to be too hot. Having an oven makes everything a lot easier than a forge, but as long as you modulate your propane, PSI, and the air and stuff like that, you can fine tune a forge within 20 degrees. Very easy. Okay. I'll pull this out, check the temp. Make sure we're not overheating. Again, one downside in particular. I need to get back there to my damn tools. I gotta pull the battery out and put the battery back in. Luckily for me, I have tools everywhere. That high-class Amazon junk type stuff. This one's getting dumped all the way in. It's Damascus. You want to quench everything. You don't want to stop at the tang. You don't want to stop at the ricasso. You want to quench the whole entire thing so that whenever you go to etch it, let's say you want to etch the spine as opposed to polishing the spine or sanding the spine and leaving it kind of like a satin finish. If you want to etch the spine and get the Damascus all the way through it, the whole entire blade needs to be quenched so that the tang steel is not a different color when you etch it than the blade steel. How's this? Glove. Just in case. Now, yeah. Out here, scrub it, fork still off. I'll get whatever's left from the forge scale off in the vinegar soak. What I do for this. I think this one's going to be pretty cool. It's Fossil Damascus from Steve Jennings. So it's a Fossil Damascus blade. It's going to be pretty cool because I forged this fully profile. So all of that, the pieces of Damascus that were in this canister, they condense all the way down to the tip. They condense up into the ricasso and the end of the handle here where the finger choil is. So it's it tapers and condenses all the way down to the tip, flares out, condenses back to here, and then comes back. So you're going to see a really cool pattern that goes into this whenever it's all finished. This is getting a wicked handle on it too. That's the handle that's going on this. Juma up front. Really cool colors. So that's the handle that's going on this thing. Y'all know I don't do many segments and handles nowadays. I just like a nice, simplistic handle on a lot of my blades. But I've got some that I'm going to be doing that are going to be pretty cool. And a few of them I'm doing myself. Now, when it comes to two of the blades that I'm really happy about, I haven't seen these yet. So that's 26C3 with a nice hamon, and then a Damascus version of it. This has the forged texture up top, and the ricasso, and on the flats, nice hamon, super even all the way down, and then a Damascus version of it. These are going to be beautiful. Those are both going to have bog oak handles, so bog oak handles, and then Tiffany blue or turquoise spacer and a black spacer. Both one's the 1/4 inch black spacer, it's a G10, and then it'll have a kind of like a turquoise colored spacer that's 3/16 of an inch, and then it'll have the bog oak. And I'm using a turquoise bits. I'll show you. These are kind of the profiles that I'm doing for the handle and everything on those. Kind of going with the theme for the other chef's knives that are on my table. Of course, this is going to be kind of like an EDC chef slash petty slash whatever you want to make it. But they're going to go with the same theme for my other EDCs and knives that I have on the table. And then I've got 3 of my other blades that I'm bringing that are ones that I made on the channel. So I've got a few builds on the channel. I'm bringing the war scythe, that's coming. So we'll have I'm bringing this with me. So that'll be there. The war scythe. From the post-apocalyptic challenge. So that handle looks wicked. But that'll be there with me. I got a cool stand that I'm making for it. It's kind of like a guitar stand. And then I'm bringing the double-bladed dagger, which this will be the first show that I've actually brought the double-bladed dagger, which is exactly what it sounds like. There's a handle in the center. We call it the Darth Maul dagger. It's a handle in the center. It's got a 22-inch dagger on one side and like a 14-inch dagger on the other side. Very dangerous thing to hold and carry because you have to worry about both tips stabbing stuff or you. So I don't know if I'm going to sell it. I'm going to bring it so people can look at it. And then I'm bringing the 2-handed hog splitter chopper from the chopper challenge. These are all challenge builds. The double-bladed daggers from the dagger challenge, from the YouTube knife makers challenge. The choppers from the chopper challenge. The war scythe is from the post-apocalyptic challenge. I'm going to have those there. Plus, I'm going to have other blades that I've made on the channel there. And a whole bunch of new chef knives and different projects too. So, like I said, I'm going to have 23 to 25 projects there. So it's going to be pretty good. And then we're going to have Neil Warren with Maximus Knives. He's going to be there too. He's going to be showing and selling some of his knives. He'll probably have 6 or 7 maybe of his. I don't know exactly how many he's bringing. He'll be part of the table as well. And he'll be there talking and hanging out. So it's going to be pretty cool. The dagger out of the field. Pretty cool. Oh, y'all want to see the Damascus? So I've got 2 to play with. Calling this Egyptian Rain. So what this is it had lines ground into it to make diamonds or pyramids, kind of, and then raindrop holes drilled into in between it as you go. So you have little raindrop patterns going through here, and then these diamonds, almost like pyramids. You really see them up here. So that's the pattern that he came up with. Egyptian rain. I'm going to make that into a badass knife. And then the other one, this is 16 stars. See if you can actually see the stars in there. Anyways, yeah, there's stars in there. And then I sent him a couple of my profiles that I forged on the live streams, and we're going to do some collaborations with those. This will be a collaboration build with him, and then I've got some blades that are going to him, and he's going to finish those. One's one of those big ass, really cool Serbian cleavers that I did a little while back. I've got one of those Serbian cleavers going to him, and then I've got EDC going to him. Serbian cleaver. He's got a bigger version of this going to him. The one that he has, it's about 3/8 of an inch thick at the spine. This one's about 1/4 inch. So his has a really aggressive distal taper to the tang and to the tip. But he's got a bigger version of this one. All right, so what I need to do now, I need to file test these knives. So I need to take and remove a couple of things. Those dry up. Let's see if we successfully hardened these blades. We'll do the 26C3 knife first. Cool thing about 26C3 is it creates almost zero decarb. On like some 10 series or things like 80 CRV2, you get a lot of decarb. So you'll have to go through and you'll have to file, a pretty good amount off the edge to get to that hard steel. But on 26C3, almost zero decarb. Yeah, that file's not doing a damn thing to that. We're going to our 65 Rockwell file. That's hard. Done on that one. That's one of the reasons why I love 26C3. So if you're wondering what that is, if you can't find 26C3, look up Hitachi White. Hitachi White and 26C3 are the same steel. They just go under two different names. A little bit of decarb to file through here. Some people will go through and they will test their knife with the file and it will bite and they'll go, dang, I didn't heat treat it properly, so I need to heat it back up and quench it again. A lot of times that's just the decarb layer on the cutting edge that's screwing with it. And you just need to get through it and get down to that hard steel before you go and screw up your grain structure on the inside of your knife. What I'm doing is I'm going until it doesn't bite. And in all actuality, I've only taken off like maybe a thou off this edge. It might seem like I'm filing the hell out of it, but I've taken almost not even anything visible to the eye off of it. Okay. Hear how it's not catching at all? No drag whatsoever, where it was dragging before. Now she's screaming. Singing, probably a little bit less aggressive. Or before, if you go through and I would have file tested it with that 65 Rockwell file and it would have bit into there, it would have been one of those things where people think that they need to reheat treat it. And you don't. You just need to get through that decarb layer down to that hard steel. It's just like barely under the surface. And boom, you got yourself a hard blade and you didn't sit there and requench it. A lot of people don't tell people about that stuff. So one of the other things that I wanted to show y'all remember how I was beating the heck out of those steak turners with my wooden mallet? That's all it really does to it. It's not all burnt up or anything like that. All this is just a wooden mallet. Nothing too crazy. If you need to move stuff without sitting there. What's up, Jan? What's up, Michael? What's up, Dennis? So thank y'all for saying hi. So a lot of people, they don't think about having a wooden mallet in their shop as a blacksmith. Well, I say a lot of people. This is a very useful tool as a blacksmith. And if you're a blacksmith, you should have something like this. There's a lot of bladesmiths that don't have this, but as a blacksmith, getting yourself a wooden mallet, where it's at. I have a wooden one. I have a rawhide mallet. I don't really use this for stuff like that, but if I'm cold forging, sometimes that's useful. But having little mallets and things like that are good tools to have other than all of your blacksmithing hammers. Of course, I have a whole thing of 2 Basterds blacksmithing hammers down here. Also, if you're interested in getting a hammer, reach out to them. It's my exclusive hammer maker, but they make all of my hammers. We talk about a beautiful hammer. Look at that dang thing. All the facets and all of that. 2 Basterds. This is their 3-pound rounding hammer, round on one side, flat on the other. I'm going to be doing a video series for all you people that have been wondering why the heck I haven't put out any videos in a while. I am going to do a Shop Talk Tuesday series based on different hammers, starting with the rounding hammer, going to the straight peens, cross peens, and different reasons why you would have different hammers. I'm going to do a series based on that. We're going to focus on one hammer at a time, what it's useful for, why we use those specific hammers in bladesmithing, blacksmithing. So I'm going to go through all of those. Those are going to be videos that are going to start releasing here pretty soon. It might be every Tuesday or it might be every other Tuesday. We're going to start going through that. So I'm going to have videos coming out. Again, one of the reasons why I don't really do many videos versus the live streams is on a video, it might get 3,000 to 10,000 views. On a live stream, I'll get anywhere from 20,000 to 100,000. So my live streams are way more views. All my sponsors that I have right now are based on my live streams and going to events, live streaming them, doing all that stuff, not so much for the videos. I do the videos because I like doing those, but I've got like 600 and some videos on YouTube. I've got a lot. So if you need to know anything within knife making, you can watch any of my videos. I've done probably almost 700 videos by now. So you got plenty to watch. But I do plan on doing a series about hammers. That way I can kind of fine tune the reasoning behind some of them. And you can watch them as many times as you want. But the cool thing about these live streams is they turn into videos after I'm done doing them, so you can always watch them back as well. Yeah, would you want to do a stream forging a double diagonal pin? The club style mallet's better because it won't split the edges. I agree with that. So a double diagonal peen. I do have one of those coming. But yeah, so if y'all are wondering what he's talking about with the double diagonal. So this is a straight peen, cross peen. Diagonal sounds exactly what it means. Instead of it being like this, it's at a diagonal, a 45. And 45. So whenever you go to the anvil, you can have your hammer kind of angled at a 45, and it's going to hit flat on the anvil. So basically, you walk up to the anvil, you're at an angle right here. Right now, my straight peen is at a 45. If I was using a diagonal peen, whenever I'm hitting it like this, instead of it being like this, it is like that. Or like this. That's it's hard to show you all. If you look up double diagonal peen, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. The whole point is, it's more natural to use a cross peen or a straight peen if your hand is 45 off to the side, as opposed to standing like this and hammering on top of the anvil, or like this, or like this, or like this. You're able just to be naturally hammering like this and drawing out this way, or hammering like this and draw. I will try one of those out and see if I can do that with what I got and go from there. Because you got one from Newt, so yeah. So I've got one coming from two Basterds, and then I have a hammer that's specifically for doing hidden tangs. I've got that coming. Calls it the Hidden Tang Special, or the Ugly Bastard hammer. So I've got that one coming, a double diagonal, and then this really cool cross peen, straight peen that's kind of based on doing what a ball peen can do. It's a little hammer that I designed with him. And we're going to see how that works out for fine-tuning work. We'll see what happens. But guys, I think I'm all that gear. I got these heat treated. I need to get them into the oven so that they can start tempering. You want to go ahead and make sure you're tempering pretty much directly after your quenching process. I'm not worried about cleaning anything off of these. I'm not worried about putting them on the grinder and doing any of that prior to tempering. I know exactly what I need to temper at. Both of these are going in the oven at 325 degrees for 2 hours. One round of 2 hours, 325 degrees, not 400, because I want to bring them back to about 63 to 65 Rockwell. I want them to be nice and hard. I don't want them to be below the 60s. Right now, this one's probably closer to 68, 69 Rockwell, because that's what happens whenever I quench the way I do with these particular knives. It gets them almost to 70, the 26C3. This one's probably closer to about 66 right now, 67. So we're going to bring that down to about 63. But yeah, 325 for 2 hours, one time. Whew. Okay, before I go and lose my voice completely, let's call it here. Thank y'all for participating in this. Thank y'all for watching me forge some steak flippers. Thank you for being here, Steve, Duck, and all you fellas. Y'all are awesome. I'll catch y'all next week where we forge some more stuff leading up to Blade Show. And we'll go from there. Catch y'all later.